And hello everybody, welcome to another Pokéstoric video. Not very long after the Easter video, because I'm trying to get a lot of Pokéstoric done this year. But believe it or not, this is the first Mermay video. Yeah, this is the first Mermay video. It's not going to be like reset to 1 or anything, you know, Pokéstoric's going to keep going, but it is going to be Mermay related. So, I just want to quickly say, this video is going to be a pain to make, because I have a holiday next week, so I have to get a draft video up during the week I'm away. Then, when I come back, I'm going to have to put it all together. So, a lot of corners are going to be cut for the draft, but I'll get there. And yeah, I am feeling intimidated, not just by the video, but also the holiday as well, because I haven't been on a holiday in years. Yeah, I'm not talking about, like, you know, time off school or anything like that. No, holiday like going somewhere and doing stuff. Anyway, so obviously for a Pokéstoric video, like any other Pokemon Creators video, you got 5 animals, 5 artists, and 5 different lineages of Pokemon. Although some could be variants or whatever, I don't have a clue. This video, series is still really moving along. But for Mermay in particular, I'll just read out what I wrote in my notes here. And of course I am reading this from my, well, it looks like a paper to you, but it's by phone. If the subject you have chosen is aquatic or relates to mermaids/fairies, the Pokemon can be any type you choose. If the subject isn't one of the above, then the Pokemon must either be a water or fairy type, or has mermaid elements. That's it really. And I think Mudkip's going to ask me what the, like, one of the entries doesn't seem to fit, but it does apply to the rules, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, sorry, this intro is probably going on long enough, so let's start our first Mermay video. Our first and possibly overdue animal in this video is the original apex predator, Anomalocaris. The first fossil of Anomalocaris were first discovered in the Ogyopsis shale by Joseph Frederick Whiteeves. More have been found by Charles Doolittle Walcott in the Burgess shale. The discovered fossils that were discovered separately, which were the mouth, frontal appendages and trunk, were first thought to belong to different creatures, which included a jellyfish, sea cucumber, a polychaete worm, and a composite of a jellyfish and sponge. This was later corrected by Harry B. Whittington and Derek Briggs in a 1985 journal article. Anomalocaris had a few titles to its name. First of all, it was among the first animals to evolve eyes, although many other animals swiftly gained eyes around the same time as well. However, Anomalocaris had 30,000 lenses in its eyes. Yep, that's pretty insane. I don't even know if that's actually, is that even possible? What do we have? What do humans have? How many lenses do we have? I think we just have 2 or 3? I don't know. Furthermore, Anomalocaris was likely the first apex predator, hunting on the ocean floor using its fin-like plates to traverse, and shredding its prey with its 3 rings of teeth. It is well known for eating trilobites, evidenced by bite marks found in the prey's fossils that matched Anomalocaris' teeth. To further strengthen this fact, trilobite remains have been found in their feces. This animal lived as long as 20 million years until the end of the Cambrian period, which I believe was because plants weren't really preyed upon. They just spread all over and just created so much oxygen that many of the animals didn't actually adapt fast enough, so they just yeah, Anomalocaris, just a very unique creature. You can't really think of many creatures like it. It set a paved way for what a predator is in the weirdest way possible. When you think of predators, this is probably not it, but it gives you that weird monster kaiju feel. Anyway, let's see what this abnormal shrimp would look like as Pokemon. With its beautiful scales, this Pokemon can lure in its infatuated prey until it delivers a dangerous venom. They have amazing eyesight, being able to see up to a mile away, and at 270 degrees around itself. Despite its deadly prowess, they can be very nurturing and playful to those it pities. This is Octhillia. Yes, this isn't exactly like Anomalocaris, but that's okay, as I didn't want to make these entries quite as restrictive as the first ever Pokemon Creations episode. Also, this design did take influence from the other Cambrian arthropods, which I won't name, but are incredibly diverse. Octhillia is beautiful and definitely fits with the mermaid aesthetic, especially with its vibrant purples, which were inspired by flower petals. For stats, Octhillia has the best emphasis on its special attack, followed by its defense stats and attack. For abilities, we have Compound Eyes for offense, Shell Armor for defense, and Swift Swim to make up for that lack of speed. For moves, you have a variety of types such as Bug, Grass, and Water. You also have access to some status moves like Toxic Spikes, Rain Dance, and Rage Powder. You can use Octhillia as a bulky sweeper with Shell Armor for defense, or Compound Eyes for better offense with moves like Mega Drain and Draining Kiss for recovery, Bug Buzz for versatility, and Brine for stab. Overall, while Octhillia's stats are not really the best, its abilities and moveset could make this Pokemon's competitive position something that is yet to be seen, because I'm not an expert. Okay, I'll admit I had to commission this artist due to time constraints, and I just must note that that is my first ever time I commissioned someone for this video, and I really do want to try and do it more often if I can. But yes, thank you to Cosmonstars for taking up this task, and welcome back. I haven't featured this artist since Pokestore 1, and I hope you enjoyed doing your part for this video with the new visuals and better video quality. Oh, and can I just mention how amazing this shiny looks? It looks spooky. Anyway, if you want to check them out, I think you know how to look, down in the description below. Or you can just stare at this beautiful video setup I have that I'm either going to keep adoring, or my future self's going to be like, what the heck was I thinking? Going from epic weird to an unexpected weird, we have our first tree. Yes, Pokebotany isn't going away, and Asterophyllites, no idea how to pronounce that properly. I don't know what else to say. Let's just start the video. The segment. Asterophyllites grandis is abundantly found in coal measures of the Carboniferous in fossilized form. The plant is a member of the extinct family called Calamites, or Calamites, which are related to horsetails. In fact, it's unknown if all discovered Calamites are in fact a single genus or even a single species. The tree's leaves were narrow and clustered in more than 8 leaves. The cluster curved upward, forming a cup-like shape, each leaf pointing towards the top of the stem. The main trunk would have looked similar to a bamboo stem, much like modern horsetails. The climate these trees lived in was warm and humid. They grew in coastal regions, river borders, and floodplains. To be honest, my patrons had made the decision for me to use this tree. Granted, I did choose a selection of plants that I wanted to do, but overall I did not expect to do a tree for Mermay. Nevertheless, I am determined to take up a challenge, which I say I was because I'm recording this after I've done the designs. Anyway, let's see what this giant prehistoric tree that is also a horsetail will look like as a Pokemon. While seemingly defenseless, Abulpe attempts to inflict curses to those who touch it. This only works as the bubble around it has burst, however. The roots of this Pokemon make excellent spices for various dishes, although sea-based dishes seem to be its best complemented dish. You know, it's been a while since we had a food-based Pokédex entry. Oh, here we have Abulpe, which is an unusual amalgamation of a root, a fish, and an alien. To be honest, I didn't feel I made this design solid, but I wanted to give it a shot. So let me know what you guys think. For stats, Abulpe has terrible offense but has good special defense. For abilities, we have Water Absorb, Unnerve, and Leaf Guard, making Abulpe pretty much a tank. Okay, it's still terrible, even for Little Cup standards. So, let's give this plant some local water. Asterpid are able to hide in plain sight by disguising themselves as local vegetation. When any unsuspecting prey trigger its roots, they become enwrapped, and their body juices drained. I'm sorry, but I couldn't resist. Anyway, this is Asterpid. Actually, there's 3. River, Coastal, and Flood. The River variant was designed first, which is basically based on the illustrations I've seen of Asterophyllites, but with elements of kelpie, squid, and bamboo. The Coastal variant has a more tropical appearance with a sandy body and a light green bush. Finally, the Flood variant I want to look very urban and ghostly, as if it adapts to live in the flooded cities of flooded remains of old villages. And yes, you did just hear my keyboard. With their comparative details, they don't really vary between these forms, they're just mostly aesthetic. So, let's just choose my personal favourite, the River variant, for talking about the comparative potential. For stats, Asterpid is a good special wall with good HP bulk, but is slow and physically frail. For abilities, they remain the same, but I suggest Water Absorb as it can be used alongside Rain Dance, which can boost its water moves in their power. For moves, I just want to talk about Wet Terrain, where it makes water battles feel a bit more unique while surfing along ponds or rivers. I feel it will work best with its bulk and water moves. This added with Rain Dance and Water Absorb would help it become a great special wall. Overall, it's nothing amazing but still intriguing to use with a good bulk and its recovery. I would like to thank my patrons for helping me choose to do a freaking tree for Mermay video. Okay, yes, it was a surprise, but you know what? It's a fun challenge for me, and I like that about having patrons choose what I do, because it pushes you to do something different, something outside your comfort zone. In this case, to try and make a sentient tree by making it into a strange kelpie squid thing. Anyway, if you want to have influence over what I do in this series, then please consider checking out my Patreon. But if you don't want to do that but you still want to support me, I do have my other social sites. Please check them out. To be honest, I keep forgetting that we have a Mesozoic animal in this video, specifically a dinosaur. In this case, we have the chicken from hell.
CFC.
What?
Cretaceous fried chicken.
Don't get me hungry. Okay, Anzu doesn't actually mean chicken from hell or a KFC knockoff. As a matter of fact, I don't know what the genus name refers to.
I believe it's connected to the mythical creature also called Anzu, which is a kind of like a Mesopotamian griffin.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
But the species name, Wiley, is named after a boy called Wiley, who was a dinosaur-loving grandson of a Carnegie Museum of Pittsburgh trustee. This species is the only known member of the Anzu genus. Anyway, the first fossils were first discovered in 1998 by Fred Nuss, who found two partial skeletons on a private ranch in South Dakota. These fossils were found 330 feet apart, the second being found around 11 feet deeper. After discovery, a third was discovered in North Dakota by Scott Hare, who spotted the bones at his uncle's ranch in Marmarth. What is it with this animal and ranches? All these remains are cranial and postcranial elements that Anzu is known for. In 2014, the genus name was given by Matthew C. Lamanna, Hans Dieter Suze, Emma R. Snasher, and Tyler R. Lyson. Why does it take so many people to name a dinosaur?
You try naming an animal while avoiding any repeats and making sure it fits with the animal.
Like I do with Pokémon?
Yeah, but professionally.
Despite this, it was informally dubbed the Chicken from Hell. It is understandable why, as it was the largest North American oviraptor, although not the largest oviraptor in the world. That title goes to Gigantoraptor, which stood up to 3.5 meters or 11 feet at the hips. So consider the little long neck and the head, you probably got yourself a 13-foot dino. Furthermore, Anzu had a beak and was covered in feathers with a crest similar to the infamous cassowary. This matched with its agility would make it a terrifying dinosaur to encounter. But really, like the infamous oviraptor, Anzu was likely a good parent, taking great care of their eggs. Anzu was named one of the top new species by the International Institute for Species Exploration in 2015. Okay, you got me, I'm in the mood for some chicken.
How about we go to KFC for some? Could do with something spicy.
No way! Have you seen the reviews? I do not want to end up on the menu.
You'd end up on the extra large family meal.
Anywho, I actually don't find this animal amazingly interesting, except for its dub name. I mean, it just sounds funny. But thinking about it, it's still weird how all the specimens have been found under ranches. Maybe there was a giant prehistoric chicken farm during the Cretaceous and you had to round Anzu up like cattle or something? Or chickens? Anyway, let's see what this... Did I say it? Let's see what this Hellfire chicken would look like as a Pokemon. What, you expecting me to make a KFC joke? I don't know what to say. Just go. Drifting along the constellation of Virgo, this Pokemon guides lost souls to their last destinations. Except for its footprints, this Pokemon lacks any shadow. I won't lie, I was absolutely mind blown when I saw this design. They literally made a Pokemon that isn't the demon from below, but from the void of space, and it's a chicken. An epic looking chicken. The details of the feathers and the cosmic mist gives you a sense of wonder for its design. It's so colourful, but so simple at the same time. The rendering is, well done. Sorry, I know I don't do this for all designs, but that's a some mode. Sorry, just accidentally paused the recording. Yes, just, that design was brilliant. Anyway, yeah, I didn't have much else to say.
Hold on.
What?
Why is it not a fire type or a chicken? And it looks nothing like a mermaid.
Well, I didn't want to restrict the artist too much. Actually, I mean, I know I said at the beginning of the video, but I'll just quickly grab the rules and I'll read it to you. If the subject you have chosen is aquatic or relates to mermaids/fairies, the Pokemon can be any type you choose. If the subject isn't one of the above, then the Pokemon must either be a water or fairy type or has mermaid elements. And according to that, this design is perfectly eligible. Besides, when you think of a mermaid, you know, it's stereotypically it's a woman's body on a fishtail. But when you expand upon that concept of creating something that's typically terrestrial or, you know, not really associated with sea creatures and then combine that with a sea creature, then you have so many options to choose from. So with this video in particular, all the entries in the video would be very diverse in their appearance, but still fit under a somewhat of a vague theme. For stats, it's a legendary with astonishing spread in the special department. For abilities, we have Levitate and Astral Body, which is powerful, but it was way more powerful until it was slightly nerfed. I didn't actually go with the artists about it, so I hope they're fine with it. It still has the same effect, but isn't quite so powerful. For moves, we have an insane selection, from terrain moves to supporting moves and powerful special moves like the Meteor Beam. I don't have much to say except that I believe Coszmnu can earn a place among the stars in I would like to thank, and forgive me for mispronouncing this, hongqiaofei, or Ofei. Yeah, hongqiaofei. Hongqiaofei. I don't know. Sounds like a Japanese giant, you know, 3-5-4-5. Okay, I do apologize if that's offensive. It's just, that's my tiny brain. Anyway, thank you for not just doing this design, but the shiny as well. Black is literally the perfect opposite to white. Not a sunburnt red like another astral Pokemon, but the gold trims and the teal wings offer just such a refined appearance. If you want to check this guy out, then you know what to do. Check that description below, or look them up on DeviantArt. You've got the name there. Check it out, please. From the bird-like dinosaur to an actual bird, that's our first penguin, is the Waimanu. Waimanu's fossils were first discovered in the basal Waipawa Greensland near Waipawa River, in Canterbury, New Zealand, in 1980. The partial skeleton is currently held in the Canterbury Museum in New Zealand. Like Anzu, there is only one species of Waimanu, Waimanu manoringi. There was Waimanu tuatai, but was moved to a different genus called Waimanu. To be honest, that just sounds like they just added the first name they thought before Waimanu and just making that name. Or is that like a... I don't know, it probably means like copy of Waimanu or something, I don't know. Possibly speaking of whom, a team of paleontologists from the Canterbury Museum of Christchurch, New Zealand and the Senckenberg Research Institute in Frankfurt, Germany, analysed the fossils of Waimanu, which mainly consisted of a hind limb and a pelvis. The island the fossils were found in was covered in water, suggesting that any animals, including Waimanu, almost immediately became covered in sediments, ensuring that the fossils remained intact. Of course, this happened after they died. I hope. Maybe they got covered while alive, which would be a very slow and awful way to die. Waimanu is an interesting animal, which provided evidence of how birds rapidly evolved after the K extinction. The K is like a short for Cretaceous. Waimanu is similar to modern penguins, except that it's currently one of the oldest known penguins, so it would have been more primitive in its physical traits. The beak was longer and narrower, its wings were proportionally larger and appear knife-like. The bones are less flat, but are flatter than avian birds. Despite this, they were able to walk upright, and while primitive, they did live an aquatic lifestyle. Yay! We have a penguin! Birds are commonly known under the avian species, but birds have diversified also almost as much as mammals. I don't know why I was going to say also. You can tell I was stressed out about this. Anyway, let's see what this spear penguin, because that's what it looks like, you just like throw it, what it looked like as a Pokemon. Its thick body is resistant to all forms of heat. It lives around natural hot springs, where it swims and bathes without worry. Because of its large, ungainly body, it prefers long-distance attacks to running after its foes/prey. But once it has caught a meal, it is taken back to the nearest pool or geyser, where it is cooked in the intensely hot waters. Although its bright colours were thought to make it stand out, most of its predators are colourblind, instead seeing it as the same yellow as the sulphur pools it lives around. Okay, I just couldn't quickly say, I don't know if that's actually true. If you are colourblind, would it actually look very similar? Anyway, who knew that our first penguin would be a fire-water type? I mean, I didn't with Waimanu. There's not a lot of contextually for this design, being based on Waimanu and thermal pools, although its name does contain the word ahi, which means fire, in what I think is Polynesian? For stats, Ahimanu is best with its special stats and speed, while its physical stats are lacking. For abilities, we have Flash Fire, Water Absorb, and a new ability, Hot Spring, which is handy with Surf and Hydro Pump. Shame it doesn't stack with Scold, although that might make Ahimanu stand in many tiers. Speaking of moves, we still have Scold, but you can use Hydro Pump as well as Surf if you are under a taunt. You also have options for a physical set such as Beak Blast or Drill Peck. Overall, Ahimanu would work best as a burn troll, thanks to the hot spring, but I would say it has some versatility past that. I would like to thank KotasPumquat for design and shiny. A shiny now goes for a dark cyan with vibrant red and orange for an alternative take on the typings palette. Also, can I just say a big thank you for not just sending me the design, but just sending me all these illustrations, which I hope I did manage to use effectively. I did not expect you to do so much for this design, and I'm so happy that you did. Thank you so much. And of course, if you want to support this artist, then you know what to do. Another DeviantArt link down below. Our final entry in this video was an animal I was dying to be in the series, and I'm happy to announce that this animal is a... Hold on a sec. Hello?
Hiya. Don't want to burst your bubble, but we are changing the animal for this part. Hold on, didn't you decide on this change?
Oh, yeah. I'll admit, I'm still a little bit confused about that.
Well, introduce the Malagasy Hippopotamus already, you dumb hippo.
Well, you already said it, so thanks. It's no point, let's just get on with it. Malagasy hippopotamus was first described mid-19th century by Alfred Grandidier, who found 50 specimens in a dried up swamp at Amboli Strata, a few miles from the Mozambique Channel. This animal was similar to the hippopotamus and the pygmy hippopotamus, but it wasn't quite as aquatic, but possibly did run a fair bit faster. This is evidenced when the specimens were found in the forested highlands of Madagascar. Of course, how did a hippo that originated from Africa manage to end up in Madagascar? Well, it was likely that the ancestors of the Malagasy hippos either swam or just rafted to the island. See, when I first thought rafted, I thought, oh, they just float there? Just went limp and just went there. Now, I don't know how they rafted there, come to think of it. Maybe some ice? I don't know, what did it raft on? Eventually, like many other animals, these hippos went through insular dwarfism, where they shrink to accommodate from the smaller space and less food. From studying the remains of the hippos and the extant Aldobrachialis tortoises' dietary habits, it was found that the Malagasy hippos and the local tortoises were the dominant grazers of Madagascar. Despite this, the hippos weren't as specialised compared to their modern counterparts. Of the 50 specimens found, 7 of them have shown signs of butchery, suggesting that they survived until humans arrived in Madagascar. In different regions across Madagascar, stories of the Cimbimbi, the Ombirano, and the Lalawama all resemble the Malagasy hippos. Because of this, it is believed that they died out around the 1500s. However, in 2019, a skull and tusk were found in Madagascar by biologist Forrest Galante. Upon analysis, it was found that the specimen was no more than 200 years old. Wow, I did not expect that. I would have thought no earlier than 1,000 years ago, but I'm wrong. 200 years is not that long if you think about it. Granted, there are many animals that went extinct more recently, but still, I hope the hippos were cute. Anyway, let's see what this tiny Madagascan hippo would look like as a Pokemon. On me. Drink. Oh, bloody hippos would have to go through, haven't they? If they talk, they would like literally just burp, because they probably drink a lot of water. What do they? Nah, they won't know. Nibblow were once abundant in the swamps and marshes of Malagasy, but due to hunting from ancient humans, the numbers have dwindled to the point where they are essentially extinct in the wild. Nibblow are normally very friendly and caring in nature, but when agitated it will blow a bubble in its mouth and then pop it by shutting its mouth quickly, creating a powerful explosion. Despite being a water type, Nibblow are actually poor swimmers, but they instead walk and run underwater. So, we have a water starter, Nibblow, which is based on the pygmy hippo, which would make sense actually. And it does work as a starter with its large head, big eyes, and I think what you'd call an open personality, where basically it's sort of not predetermined. Like, when you look at Score Bunny, you know, you see a football and you know, compare that to when starter Pokemons were just, you know, Charmanders or Lizard. I think there's a bit more of a impression a player can put on it, whereas now you got these personalities that have just been embedded in the species instead of the, you know, open nature of the individuals. I don't know. For stats, Nibblow has good physical attack and defenses, but isn't that fast. For abilities, we have Torrent and Stalwart, which means Nibblow is a surprisingly good counter against E-Proto with its ability to redirect attacks. So, this little hippo, you know, is a starter Pokemon, so see what it evolves into. Upon evolving, Hippour has become an adept swimmer. Unlike the more friendly Nibblow, Hippour are very belligerent, making it quite difficult to control in battle. As a warning, they will open their jaws in a yawning fashion, blowing a large bubble as the mouth widens. They will then slam their mouths shut, sending a powerful shockwave of bubbles at any nearby foes. Their jaws are strong enough to crush a boulder into a pile of gravel. Despite their nasty temper, they will show a caring side reminiscent of Nibblow, once their trust is gained. Hippour normally live in fresh water, but will migrate to estuaries. It is believed they do this to await their evolution. I have a feeling this line will somewhat be like the Squirtle line, but we'll have to see. Hippour take a heavier influence from the Malagasy dwarf hippo, but seem to have some primitive whale traits. This colour scheme works well despite using just blues for its main body, so each element is still able to stand out. For stats, Hippour has pushed its best stats, but will be limited on physical water moves thanks to its special attack. For abilities, Eevee should consider itself lucky it lives with crocodiles instead of hippos. Actually, the crocodiles would be threatened too, considering hippos do hate crocodiles. Anyway, let's see the final evolution, shall we? Hippobyss are the result of Hippour that fled to the ocean after human settlers arrived in Malagasy. Many sailor stories of encounters with sea serpents stem from this Pokemon. With their powerful jaws, Hippobyss are known to capsize small boats unlucky enough to wander into their territory. At certain times of the year, they will travel upstream into fresh water in order to raise their young. The many estuaries dotted all around Malagasy today have been attributed to this behaviour. They mark their territories by laying bubble traps around their entrances. I've got a question. If it marks its territory by laying bubbles around the place, does that mean it kind of pees out bubbles? Like you would like musk? Would it be musky bubbles? That would be a weird bubble bath. Oh, anyway, our final evolution in this video is Hippobyss. Like, wow, just wow. Despite its floating appearance, it's actually still amphibious, so it can still walk on land. You'll see what I mean later. The design takes heavier influence from various sea creatures, sea monsters, and especially those who you would recognise on pirates' maps. But you do also have minor elements of Hippopotamus Gorgops. However, the animal that heavily influenced its design is the Basilosaurus, which I did look into, but I decided that due to it still looking more like a hippo, I said made this segment more about the Malagasy hippo instead. But this was incredibly confusing and hard of a choice to make, as it does have a lot of sea dragon influence, such as the Basilosaurus with the cryptid Hydracos, which was based on the combined skeletons of Basilosaurus. Overall, amazing design that was so creative that I got confused of how it would fit into any animal's things, because I didn't know if it was a whale, a hippo, or a sea dragon. For stats, Hippobyss has got great stats, except for its speed. But Hippobyss is now able to use special moves effectively as well. For abilities, they still remain the same, but are still really good. For moves, we have a lot of new moves to cover, one of which I included. Stunning Blast is a powerful and unique move that works best on mixed attackers such as Hippobyss. I feel we need more moves like this in the series and in the franchise. Next we have Bubble Maw, which is basically like Thunder Fang but arguably more powerful. To access Channel Mine, Nibblow would try to learn it after evolving into Hippour, although I think you would definitely have it go to a move shooter if you didn't want it at the time but then you change your mind. It works like a typical hazard, except it also affects the user and its allies. I suppose you could think of it like Stealth Rock on the opponent with Tailwind on the team. Finally, this is my move, which is Ocean Terrain. Basically, this move grants all grounded Pokemon an immunity to electric type moves. Sorry Pelipper, that doesn't apply to you. Also, rock and ground types do exchange their negative effect of reduced damage for becoming weaker to water types, as if they haven't got a weakness already. Hippobyss has a powerful selection of moves that can work for bulky sweeping sets or being a pure wall. Oh, can I just mention that I didn't use any Legends Arceus moves yet in the series, well up until now, because I haven't even played the game yet. I know, I'm totally behind, but it's my birthday coming around soon, so after that I might be able to do some Let's Playing on that done, but yeah, Headlong Rush sounds great and powerful. Overall, Hippobyss can become a force to be reckoned with, especially with its thick bulk and bone-shattering jaws. I'd like to thank, once again, Sean Falco for doing another series of designs for the main series. Yes, literally, just like Easter was like just a month ago, so amazing when you do that. Not only that, but just consider that these were made using traditional mediums. They also made shinies with different poses. Like, wow, that's a lot. And yes, you can see, Hippobyss is actually partially terrestrial. Nibblow and Hippo have a cool purple palette, while Hippobyss's colours have a menacing brick purple. I think you know what to do. They have Pokemon Mina, which is a change, but they also have Deviant Art that is named after an Oviraptor. Just saying, that is available. If you want to take that, take it ASAP. Is it actually available? Forgive me if I said that wrong, I don't know. I might be wrong, but yeah, please check them out. And now at the end of the video, but please don't leave. Oh, this video was such a joy to do. And by that, I mean it was quite stressful because a lot has been happening. Like, so much has been happening. It's so squashed. But in all seriousness, a big thank you to everyone for their support. The artists who made the Pokemon, the people who let me use their prehistoric animal artwork as cutaways. I call them cutaways, but they're just... I don't know what you call them. I call them cutaways because that's what you sort of do, but I suppose clips? I don't know. I just call them cutaways just to separate the images for the animal segments with the Pokemon segments. Anyway, if you want to support this channel, then please check out my Patreon. Oh, there's so much goodies you can get. Actually, I need to get around to doing some of the perks there, but please check it out. Minimum cost is one of whatever currency, but I'm just going to say dollar because that's what most people are going to be using. But if you're a British person like me, I think it's just £1. And of course, you don't just have to follow me on here. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever other social media I have. And of course, for this video, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you want to follow me on this social media site, if you haven't already, then, you know, check out my channel, then sub if you do like what I make. And of course, because I'm the most infrequent uploader you probably ever knew, don't forget to click that bronze. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I wish you all a very happy Mermay. And maybe, hopefully, I can get this done in the earlier parts, because I think this is the first time I did this. But it would be really interesting to, I don't know, should I do it earlier in the month or do it at the end of the month? I don't know, what do you guys think? You know, posting the Mermay videos in the past, present, or even future. I will see you there. Goodbye!